So this is where it all starts, Kevin. This is poplar logs arriving about 8 feet long. About 50 of these trucks a day arrive on site to keep us going.
Unbelievable.
It gets downpiled in the yard over there. We've got about 4 or 5 weeks supply, but this is where it all starts, coming from the bush.
And the whole purpose of everything going on here is to make some LSL, laminated strand lumber, right?
That's correct. That's what we make here.
All right. Well, you ready to show me the whole process?
You bet I am.
All right. Thank you.
So Kevin, this is the start of our process here. So these are the 8-foot poplar logs that are being loaded into the process. We call those magazines. So we've got this high lift loader that takes the logs either from a logging truck or actually from our yard and loads them into those magazines. This is the conditioning ponds and jack ladders. So the logs spend about 8 hours in the conditioning ponds. The ponds are heated up very hot, like 130 degrees during the winter.
Brings them up here, and where's it dropping it?
Dropping into a jack ladder outfeed conveyor, and that conveyor is going to feed the logs into debarkers a little bit down the stream. Have each of the logs go through the debarker singularly, and we've got 5 knives that rotate around the log and cut the bark off. Then the barks are ready for the next part of the process, which is stranding.
So that big ring there, that's the actual strander, and it's going sideways across the wood?
That's correct. It's driven by a 1100 horsepower motor. And then it'll get indexed ahead for another cut. We're producing strands that drop off the bottom of that strander and go up the incline conveyor to some storage bins. The mat of strands is about a foot thick coming down the line. The forming process is a continuous one, so we have to cut that mat at some point. And we have a flying cutoff saw that starts to travel with the mat and cuts across. Then we accelerate the mat into the single opening steam injection press, which is very unique.
And how long is the mat, the one that you cut?
The mat's about 64 feet long,
Wow.
8 feet wide, and again about 12 inches thick for this product. Mm-hmm. It goes through the pressing process and a very unique steam injection press, which softens the mat with steam and helps cure the resin. After the mat then becomes, we call it a billet, and it'll actually go through a splitter saw that'll split the billet in half, 4 foot, 4 foot, for example, and goes down a roll case into a billet cooler. We need to cool it off for a couple hours so that it stops off-gassing.
Can you cut them once they're cooled?
That's correct. Then we go to our products area, which is really just a sawmill that cuts the billet down to size.